Let's call this meeting to order. It's Monday, January 6th, 2025. Welcome everyone to the Board of Education meeting. And I would like to welcome our guests. And we'll jump right into the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? And the December meeting minutes. Any changes or questions about the December meeting minutes?
Nope.
All right, let's jump right into the personnel report.
All right, so for the Vice President of Instruction position, we are scheduling the interviews for the next week or so, just trying to work with the people on the panel and the candidates. So that's always fun to try and get that organized. We had 2 new staff start today. Our IT support specialist, his name is Denton, and he started today. And our financial aid advisor, Giovanna, who goes by Gio, she started today at the same time. So that was really fun, super nice people, and very excited to have them joining us for EdBird. So let's see. And then the CTE Workforce Development and CTE Apprenticeship Coordinator, we're still looking into that with them, those programs with what's going on with the department. So those are still open, but pending.
Okay,
So that's it.
do we have any questions for Kylie? All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move. I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we have opportunity for public comment. Do we have any public comment tonight? In the room? Or online? All right, then we'll move right into new business. Item 4A is board recognition.
Yes, thank you, Carol. So the state has declared January School Board Recognition Month in recognition of all of the work that elected school board officials do for school boards. So we want to honor that. We have a nice little cozy blanket there.
Thank you for the blanket.
Warm for that, and I would like to read, if it's okay, into the record a proclamation for the Board of Education Recognition Month.
Nice.
Whereas the Board of Education of Tillamook Bay Community College has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the advancement of our institution, our students, and the broader community. Whereas the board nurtures a culture of high expectations, believing all students can learn, grow, and excel. Whereas the board's commitment to student success is evident through their support of programs that foster academic excellence, personal growth, and community engagement. Whereas the board builds relationships anchored in trust, teamwork, and collaboration, working together to serve the best interests of students in the community. Whereas the board members serve as a vital link between TBCC and the community, ensuring that the college remains responsive to the educational and economic needs of our region. Whereas the board's collaborative approach and steadfast support have been pivotal in guiding TBCC through and transformation. Whereas the board's visionary leadership has been instrumental in initiatives such as the development of the new healthcare education building, enhancing educational opportunities for our students, and addressing critical needs in Tillamook County. Whereas the month of January is designated as School Board Recognition Month, providing an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate the significant contributions of our board members. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Paul Gerald, President of Tillamook Bay Community College, hereby express my heartfelt gratitude to the members of Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education. In recognition of their dedication, leadership, and service, I proclaim the month of January to be Board Recognition Month at Tillamook Bay Community College. I encourage everyone in our community to join me in celebrating and thanking our Board of Education for their unwavering commitment to student success, their passion for lifelong learning, and their vision for a brighter future for all. Thank you all very much.
That was very nice. Thank you.
Get every word up.
And now to the sad part, we are declaring a board vacancy.
Yeah.
Yes, now that we have all that recognition out of the way. It is with, I think we all have, we knew this was coming probably for a little while, and I think that, I would like to especially recognize the work that Kathy has done for the college for, how long have you been on the board? 10 years, and a chair for a good bit of that, right?
Yeah.
No, chair for about 5 or 6.
Yeah, while Ross was on there. So I think that, you have really been incredibly a support for the college. I think you set a good example for the board to follow through your leadership, and I am understanding of your desire to leave right now, but your voice and passion will be missed tremendously. Appreciate that. We do have, before we declare it vacant, we do have some tokens of appreciation here. Everybody needs a plaque to put on that they can, your kids can fight over someday.
We do have a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, let's get real, right? We do have that, but that's
These are attractive.
they are
Yeah.
attractive. Yeah, and yes, something to dust and whatever. The board and the college did give you a little something there that I think, we hope that you get to use in your I don't want to say retirement's not a word, but your separation from the board. Somebody told us you might like that place.
What is it?
It is a
Bear
gift
Creek.
certificate for
To Bear
Bear Creek artichokes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. And this is from the leadership team, and there's another one floating around here somewhere.
That's trying to be.
And that's from the board. That. I painted that. It's amazing how everybody who bought it is storing it.
Professional.
Yeah.
I'll read all those later. Thank you. Now you really on with it. Never use it.
You don't know the rules.
I would have done the same thing. That's it of it.
Hedgehog. Thank that. Thank you so much.
Would you like to say anything?
Well, it's bittersweet. I was telling, it's sad and yet I feel I've done my duty, my service. I have decided in my life that with my husband's illness, I need to focus on being with him, but also I'm diving more into my music and doing a lot of things in the community music wise, and just that's my focus. And I'm 71 years old, I'm just kind of tired. But it's been a good ride, and I'll tell you, because when we moved to Tillamook 28 years ago, I crossed the street from the old college. There were, what, 2 professors, if even that? And it was more about the courses, the community courses. It wasn't the degree, it was a 2-year degree, but it wasn't what we have now. And just to see in just that 28 years, how different it is now, how exciting. And I run into people all the time, especially now nurses, and we talk and they go, "Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice that you guys are doing this for the community, for the nurses." And it's just, so I hope you invite me back for the open house.
For the beam signing.
The beam sign.
Okay, and then, and if you do need a budget member, I'd be willing to do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
I appreciate everybody. How you, because there are a lot of boards out there that are not like this one.
That's
That's what's making it hard to leave. Because this is special. You guys are very special.
Thank you. Well, I have had the pleasure of serving with you for 10 years.
Wow.
And so I just want you to know how very grateful I am to have been on this board with you for these 10 years. So grateful for your advocacy for the college and for your steady leadership. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your excellent role
We still
modeling.
got
That's right. We have. Yeah, together we're
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. And it's been, we did, 3 really good presidents during that rate.
Definitely.
It makes a big difference.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very lucky. Good raising the bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah, the board meetings, when we first were, there were maybe, it was the board and maybe 2, 3 people,
Mhm.
if even that.
Mhm.
Now we
We fill up this room and
Drive around trying to find a place.
Yeah.
Right. Mary Jones just joined.
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
Welcome, Mary.
We're just wishing Kathy well.
I don't have to leave till
Tired.
No.
No.
Somebody has another chair.
Do you have any public comment?
They come and they kind of say, they're done and they're out the door.
No.
No,
Finish.
no, because you're not out the door until tomorrow morning.
That's right.
That's
January
that's
7th.
true.
January
I purposely did that.
Yes.
I put the 7th instead of the epiphany.
So I guess then it is with sorrow that the board does have to declare a vacancy as of tomorrow.
Right.
And I would request that when you declare the vacancy, that you would direct me to initiate the process to solicit applicants for a temporary appointment. With the understanding that should they choose to remain, they would have to run in May for the May election.
Thank you. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
We need to make a motion to which effect? I'm sorry.
To what he just said?
I make a motion to
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, motion passes.
And the only advice I
And thank
give you is, you're welcome so much. They, is double check address. I mean.
Address,
Oh,
yeah.
address.
Address for people that are
Person.
applying.
Yeah.
Because the first I was thinking of, I thought for sure it was in the Tillamook area and it's basic.
Right.
Even though it's
Right?
It's right
right
there.
across the river.
Yeah, it's
right
an
across the-
interesting
yeah.
zone.
Oh.
Zones, yeah. So,
I was surprised also.
yeah, those zones are strange.
Yeah.
What is the overall?
So the overall process, so we will post in the paper and online and through social media that the position is vacant and that we will be accepting applications for that. We have a brief application that basically is, what's your interest in serving as a board? What experience do you have? What's your address? Things, right, that we have to verify. And then the board will take those applications, and then we will arrange for a special board meeting via Zoom where the board will interview those that are interested and then deliberate and choose a replacement. And I would like to do that. It would be nice if we could do that. We probably won't be able to get all of that done by a February board meeting, but we could probably have somebody seated by the March.
So the zone includes what again?
It's the voting zones, the precincts 1 through 7.
Mm.
And
Right.
in Tillamook City,
Uh-huh.
and then east on the Trask and probably on some of those
Yeah,
roads.
and up to Solly Smith,
Solly-
but not past Solly Smith,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
We could share the.
But Solly Smith
we could
goes all the
share
way
the
out.
map.
Yeah.
So it's all
So
that.
you
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be good.
because even
Well,
when
exactly.
when I was appointed, there were 2 of us and the board selected the other person and then found out she didn't do it. She did the wrong. So
Well, lucky us.
Like this, yeah.
hold it to me, but yeah.
When we post it, we'll post
Post the
the
boundaries.
boundaries,
Well,
yeah.
If it includes Solly Smith, it should include Nikki.
Just, no, it's
Just believe us.
just up to,
Up to,
yeah, it doesn't include whatever that subdivision
On
is.
the other
it does
Just
decide
on the
the
other side.
streets that go, yeah. It's
Wow,
just-
so close.
Well, it's based on voting precincts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in 12.
So good.
Okay,
All right, so we will do that and I will put in the, when we do post that. Excuse me, we'll try to articulate the boundaries. It's challenging, but we can do it by voting district. You had 1 through 7.
It's listed in the webpage.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay.
Under my little bio there.
And we'll put out a press release tomorrow, yes, or press release or social media or both.
Trick question, we can do both.
We can do, but anyhow, we'll have your recommendation.
Anything happens.
Maybe then just in that, we would refer to the website for
Yeah,
information.
yeah, Yeah, we can do that.
Out. Okay.
moving on to item C, program approval, Associate of Science and Health Science. Peter.
So you have in your packet some information about the Associate of Science, Health Science. It's really designed to incorporate the prerequisites associated with nursing and other health programs into one degree. We have many students who are working on prerequisites for nursing or other health programs, but there's not really a bucket for that to live. So this provides a place for those courses to live. It also provides the opportunity to provide financial aid for those students. It provides a strong foundation in biology, health science, and human psychology. And really will provide a pathway for pre-nursing and other pre-health students in both here and elsewhere. So I think it really serves our students well. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just have to say, I just had a panic attack. Because before I went to nursing school, I had to do all those classes and that's tough stuff, so. I was like, oh my God.
So yeah, we brought up some.
That's
I really apologize.
Thank you.
This will be short if you want to step out, then we can.
I'm over it.
Okay, do we have any questions? Questions for Peter?
I think it's great.
Okay, if not, I would accept a motion.
I will make a motion to, we're so sloppy today.
Or C.
Oh, 4C, I make, program approval, Associate of Science, Health Science. I make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We lost Mary. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. You have the next item as well, which is the 2025 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027 academic calendar.
Yes, so this is the second reading for both. It's kind of the third reading for the 25-26. So nothing's been changed since you've seen this previous. It's fairly standard academic calendar.
Thank you.
Does it coincide with Oregon State and UO?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out.
I don't think this year it did.
I don't know that both of those are actually on the same.
Kind of, yeah. Are they on
Semester.
semesters?
No, they're on quarters, but I don't know that both of theirs even line up. I think we try to do that where we can unless there's a reason we can't. And I don't know that we actually, they might not have even had theirs out at this point.
Yeah, I did not
26,
really
27.
review that as part of the process.
Yeah.
Any questions about the calendars? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the academic calendars for 2025-26 and 2026-27.
I make a motion to approve the 2025-26 calendar as well as the 26-27.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Yeah, thank you.
We can, Kathy, was your concern about that students' ability to be taking classes here and there at the same time?
Right.
More like, we'll look and for 26-27, Peter, let's look into that for the 26-27 one.
Yep.
And then if there are changes that can be made, we can bring those
Yeah,
back.
especially Oregon State.
Yeah, that would be the priority.
Yeah.
Great. Good point. Thank you. All right, let's go on to item E, which is College Board Resolution 2025 Community College Legislative Priorities.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm going to kick this over to Britta. As you know, that this time of the year, on an odd year, when we're looking at developing budget, OCCA really helps frame arguments for us around the lobbying that we may do for funding. So I'll let Britta sort of explain what we've got here, what they've asked us to do.
Little handout here that OCCA prepared for us. And I'll explain the ask a little bit. John approached us at an advocacy meeting and is asking all Oregon Community College boards to review these priorities and to approve them so that they can come out and say that all 17 community colleges approve these 5 priorities for the legislative session. So the first page is talking about the $920 million ask that we originally requested. We did get an increase when the governor's budget was first released, but it wasn't the full amount that we did request. So it's justifying or providing some documentation on why we feel that $920 million would be sufficient to achieve everything based on increased FTE, 7% since 2023, and just growing over the bienniums. And then the back page has just kind of the additional priorities lined out. So increasing the capital construction cap. So previously or currently it's 8 million. So requesting that it change to 14 million. Increasing the Oregon Opportunity Grant. This benefits many of our students and is really impactful to students across the state. Student basic needs. As we know, basic need insecurity is very high in our county in particular, but statewide for many students. So that ask a co-requisite transition. So this is a one-time funds to support faculty release time and training to get the co-requisite work group up and running. And then the final is the adult reconnect policy. So convening a work group to work on re-engaging adults. So this is just kind of information and you can keep this, but this is what OCCA has asked that we present to you this evening.
Thank you. What's the prerequisite?
That's my question. I was wondering the same thing. Well, what do we exactly mean by that?
So you want me to address that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
So the co-requisite work group is when we look at developmental education, so students that are taking coursework that's not college level yet. Many institutions historically, we had a presentation about that a year or two ago now. Many institutions historically just put lots of courses in front of that, right? Math 20, math 60, math 65, math 70, math 75. But before you get to college level, and what the research shows sort of nationwide is that model hasn't worked, has never really worked, and students drop out before they ever make it to where they need to go. So it's really about looking at a different way to prepare students that might be not able to go directly into college level math or writing, but place them in college level math and writing with a co-requisite, like another support course that has to be taken at exactly the same time as that one to provide them just in time supports while they're doing that, right? So I might be in math, but realize the one thing that I'm having trouble with isn't all of math. It might be I don't really understand logarithms, right? So that could provide that just in time kind of support for a particular stumbling block that I might have that might be keeping me from being successful in that class.
And another way to think about that is if you have a long period of time before you get to college level math, every opportunity between terms is another opportunity for students to drop out. So you really end up with like 15% of your students getting through a year-long process. That's really been ineffective.
Yeah, the state convened a work group last year with legislation, and the work group is presenting their findings. Actually, I think they were supposed to present them at the end of the calendar year to the legislature. And this is seed money to help implement some of those recommendations that could go to the colleges, right? So we're going to have faculty engaged in redesigning some of the curriculum. So the state would pay us money to reimburse the faculty for doing that reassigned time.
So it's not something like we implemented or changed now.
We actually have co-requisite work here. We have implemented this. I would say that we're at a point where we need to reevaluate what we're doing in the co-requisite courses, and that this is what we would be doing, is looking at our current curriculum and saying, hey, how can we make it better? Because there are some issues with it currently.
And I'm going to talk about that a little more in a few minutes.
Oh, good. And I think the other one to just kind of highlight here, I mean, obviously the Oregon Opportunity Grant and the student basic needs really go a long way to supporting students, but the capital construction cap, that has been at 8 million since they started that 20 years ago. And just to give you an idea, I mean, we could have either asked for, if we would have had 14 million 2 years ago when we went out for our bond as a match, right? We could have either built a larger $28 million building, right? Or we could have asked the taxpayers of Tillamook County for less because we could get more match from the state, right? So, and I think recognizing the impact that, I mean, certainly in the past 20 years, the increases in construction costs, but really in the past just few years, right? It's amazing. And we tried to get them to say, if it's approved, can we have it retroactive? Because we can use it. Right.
Any questions, additional questions about the community college legislative priorities? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the board resolution supporting the 2025 community college legislative priorities.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mary Faith, you have that document, we signed this.
I do. I do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can move on to the audit report.
Okay, so, with the audit report and the clean audit, and also the finding that we had in the prior year has been also changed, the status has been changed to corrected. And that was about the bank reconciliations that we were implemented for about 15 months. So we are up to date with all of the bank reconciliations and all the financial reports that he examined. We passed basically. So I would like to, if you're interested, get your attention to the page 54 of the budget book. I'm going to go over it. We don't have to. But basically, there are, under summary of audit results, there are 9 different sections or sentences or paragraphs, I don't know what to call them, 9 numbered items that, except for this number 7 that talks about what programs the auditor has audited. Everything else, you can see that they have been no significant deficiencies. There hasn't been any non-compliance that is material. There hasn't been any issues with our federal programs or so everything and the number 9, I like especially that says that they determine that we are a low risk auditing. And then no fundings for this year, and again another favorite of mine, the correction that was made to the last year finding. So we have a very clean audit and we clean the prior year as well. The other thing that is significant, again, in my opinion, is our statement of net position that is on the page 6 of the audit book. Yes.
Put the last page at the front.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I started with that. Yeah. Because I thought that's the one that I want to start with. But the statement of net position at the last line of the report, it shows that in the prior year, our net position for the net position was $16 million. Now it's $19.9 million. But now, I mean, at the end of FY 24. And this is significant for two reasons. Number one, that the prior audit, actually, we had a negative net position of about $3 million. Sorry, $1.5 million. And the reason for it was that because of the lack of the financial oversight, the expenses in some places were larger than the budget. And not only this is by itself an indicator of financial health for the college. Also, now the OCCA and HEC are putting more emphasis on using the net position and a couple of other indicators to come up with a composite financial index, a CFI, that a big chunk of having a good CFI is this net position, changes in net position. And a positive net position helps us with a better CFI, which unfortunately for that FY 23, that affected our CFI negatively. And then the fact that the change in net position is huge is also going to help us to look better in the eyes of HEC. So, and I don't know if I should explain what the net position means or maybe I just say a couple of short sentences. Basically, the net position means that we started a year with so much money. And it can be even zero. Let's say you start with zero. And then you bring enough revenue to cover your expenses or not enough to cover your expenses or cover your expenses and add to your beginning fund balance or beginning asset, how much you have. So this shows that we were able to save more into our savings. So I'm very proud of that.
What is the, so the unrestricted almost doubled? What all?
Yeah, so the restricted is that any funds that we receive that has a restrictive usage, like for example, our financial aid support that we receive, money that we receive for a grant that is supposed to be used for certain deliverable that we promise. So those are called restricted. They have a specific use. A lot of times if you don't use it, you have to return it. Unless it is something that you invested in equipment and assets that you're going to get to keep, because usually those stay with the college. Unrestricted are the money that we bring in terms of tuition and fees, the money that the state gives us. So it's for all of our activities. So it's unrestricted. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one to double.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes. So, sorry,
That's
did you
okay.
have a question?
I was going to ask, do we have any more questions for Sheila?
What kind of party was there after?
This was done on the day that we were going home for and I was going for our holidays vacation time, and I couldn't stop, and I was working nonstop with the auditor, and I don't know if it was because I was so dedicated to my job or it was because the prior year audit, which happened at the end of March, I told everybody over my dead body. I don't know which one was the reason, but yeah. But if I may, I just want to say a few very important sentences that I want you to be aware of. And those are, when I started, this today is exactly the mark of my 14 months of being at
Good.
So thank you, when I started here, even though at the beginning, I felt like, oh, I've done a lot of these things, I can manage. But there were a lot of times that I was finding things that I thought, oh my God, how am I gonna do to get work of stuff? And I don't know how many times I've been to Paul's office and I said, it's
Oh, I
really.
can tell you.
And like I'm peeling an onion and I have to fry it every little layer. But the point that I want to make is that without Paul's leadership and support, none of this would have been possible. I could rely on him to go to his office and vent about whatever I wanted to. I could rely on him to provide me the support and the authority to do whatever I need to do to make the things that needed to happen, to make them happen. And he was a great mentor, supporter, sounding board. I mean, this couldn't have happened without his support. And
What a guy.
yeah.
Well, and I can't even balance my checkbook. So
Yeah, and also quickly, I want to add just a couple of questions that were asked last time, and I think I answered the questions, but I still want to bring them back because I have a little bit to build upon it. One of the questions that I think you asked me, Faith, was about the payroll. Yes, when I started, we were thinking that we have to outsource the payroll, and we thought there's no way. We were thinking it was Jenzabar that wasn't equipped to give us what we needed to do. We managed to overcome all of those issues. Right now, we're doing the payroll fully in-house, and we do everything from bringing an employee in to making the payment, to do the federal compliance that and state all the compliance activities that we need to do. The only one thing, and we're doing our pairs and reconciliation of pairs. That was the only thing that I said we're behind. We are up to date with all of that as well. The only issue that and problem that I have with Jenzabar payroll module right now is the time cards. I wish we could simplify some of our time card processes. I don't think Jenzabar has that capability. But then again, in my prior college, university, I worked with Banner, which is the largest software for this kind of activities, the largest ERP system for academic institutions. And we had issues with that as well. So there are certain things that we haven't done certain way because of our policies and procedures. But unfortunately, not every software is equipped to give us all of that. But I'm very comfortable with our payroll process and payroll module, and I think that's good. And we still have to do a little bit of cleaning up of trial balance. These are residual leftover from the prior years that I'm still trying to figure out how they can be fixed. And we have to work on them, and we have to get them fixed. But I think now I have more time to focus on them. So, and as long as Paul promises me that he will let me go to his office and vent and be angry or.
just warn me so I can be gone next week. You have it all to yourself. I think part of the, the Jenzabar thing, I mean, it's a tool, right? And every enterprise system like that has strengths and weaknesses. And I know Cheryl and Sherry and Kylie and other people on Sherry's team have really worked on trying to get up to speed through training. We've contracted with them to have some, private training, and that's been really helpful. And, I think people are getting a little bit more comfortable with the tool, which helps. And it still has limitations, obviously, but at least we're learning how to use it a little bit more effectively.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you. It's so reassuring to know that you're caught up. I'm so thankful. I think I can speak for the whole board and say we're so thankful.
And thank you for your trust and giving me the chance to do what I did.
Thank you for not running.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, it's so very heartening. Yeah, for a while there, before you came, it felt like we had part of our system was broken. And it sounds to me as though it has been repaired. So thank you.
Yes. Oh, understand it better. Huge relief.
When I read the audit, I was just, and they wouldn't give their opinion about how well you did. You know, we're not gonna talk about our opinion, it's just data. But they did at the end, say supportive things and like, and the one thing, that last year, it wasn't performed on timely basis, and then it said this year it's been corrected.
Yeah,
So that felt good,
yeah.
and I want to thank you.
Yeah, sure. And I think I said it last time that he was very surprised to see me in that office again. Yeah, so, and then,
He, the auditor.
the auditor, yeah.
Or Paul.
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, Paul sometimes he has to hide in his office, so I won't go bug him.
Well, I,
Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I would accept a motion to approve the audit report.
I definitely make a very happy motion to approve the audit.
Thank you.
I second. Okay, there. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thanks again, Carrie. Moving on to item G, we will rescind board policy 209 and board policy 215, presumably.
Yes, so this is a little bit of cleanup work here. As you know, as we go back through some of our policies, we forget to rescind some that we should have rescinded. So board policy 209 is actually language that is really administrative rule language, more procedural in nature. We put that language into an already approved AR 6510. So we need to sunset the BP 209. There is an overarching board policy on use of college facilities and things like that. I can't remember which number it is off the top of my head, but we already went through that one. The language that was in BP 209 is now in AR 6510. The other thing that we're doing when we're going through these board policies is looking at policies that seem to be out of place, or why do we have one? So for example, the board policy has there is a board policy on lost and found, which seems a little in the weeds to me for some reason.
You don't think we should be in charge of that?
Be charged a lot. I mean, you're welcome to if you want to, but and you certainly don't have to take the recommendation here, but I think with something like this around lost and found, I mean, I think it's important to understand that there might have been a reason in time while this was put in here, but the college has no interest in keeping people's items. We will have a process in place that would allow students and public and employees to know where to go for something. But it seems like more of a procedure than an actual board policy around that. So yeah, it does pile up, but we put the language there for you. You can get a sense if you want to see what it is. So we would keep probably the AR around the administrative rule around lost and found, but not policy around that. So
Sense to me.
yeah.
Me as well.
So if you agree with that, then I would certainly we would entertain motions to rescind those two board policies. Knowing that, you know, we do have ARs that cover the information in this.
Thank you.
I move that we rescind the board policy 209 and 215.
My second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to item 5 in the agenda, information only items, starting with A, mission fulfillment award completion rate. Dr. McCarthy.
Awesome.
Well, the next in our series, our ongoing series of mission fulfillment metrics. As you recall, we were talking about, or we've talked about fall to winter persistence, right? So, and we've seen that we're holding on to students more. It's probably a better way to say that, but we've seen an increase in, and we mean that in the best possible way. We've seen an increase in the percentage of students who are sticking around from fall to winter. And then we've looked at retention. So we've seen an increase in the percentage of students, especially our full-time students who are sticking around from fall to fall, right? But those are really recent figures, right? Those are for our more recent cohorts. So those students who have joined us real recently. But what Peter's going to talk to us about today is award completion. So and by award, we mean students who have earned either certificates, shorter term certificates, or associate degrees, right? 2-year degrees. So we kind of lump those in and call those awards. Those take longer periods, right? So longer time to earn. So we're talking about students who came to us, who joined the college further ago, right, in the past. So not those students who we've been holding on to for long, right? So not the cohort that we've been talking about. So students who haven't been impacted by the great work that we've seen happening by our coaches, right? So we're in a time machine and we're kind of going back to the past. But we're still, so if we can go back or go move forward, Cheryl. My lovely Vanna White, thank you. So again, purpose here is to look at and to always making the connections between the work that we're doing at the college level and how all of that connects with our strategic plan. Everything always connecting to the strategic plan, beating that drum all the time. Moving on, Cheryl. So when we talk about award completion rate, just to be specific about this, and I realized when I was looking at this earlier, this slide isn't quite right. We're narrowing the cohort even more, right? So when we look at the data here in a second, we're talking about a really narrow cohort. So this is full-time students who join the college, who are first time in college, right? Who've never been at any other school. So this doesn't include transfer students. So these are kind of when we think about traditional college students, these are those kind of pure traditional college students. So first time in college, often these are your 18-year-old, just first time in college, just out of high school kind of students. So it's a really small group of students typically here at TBCC, right? It's usually a really small cohort of students. But again, we're not talking about, we're only talking about undergraduate degree-seeking students always, right? We're not talking about high school students. We serve a lot of dual credit students. We're not talking about those students included in this sample, not talking about community education students. Just to be clear, it's a really small group of students. So if we could go to the slide. And because it's such a small sample of students, when we talk about, or when we measure completion rate, we're not talking about one cohort at a time or 1 year at a time, because often that 1 year cohort for our first time full-time students is about 40, 50 students. And we all know when we think about percentages or those small numbers, the percentage of students who complete a degree or an award, that percentage can jump around from year to year, right? So the way that we measure that is in a rolling cohort, right, or a rolling average rather. So what each of these points is an average for that 3-year time period. And so this is the first fall term or the fall term that each of those cohorts started. They started in 2013, 2014, 2015. So this is the 2014s, the 2015s, the 2016s, you see, right? So it kind of rolls along as we go along. So to try to kind of flatten out the bumps, right? And so again, when you've seen a chart of this structure before, we're always that blue line, because I use the style guide, so I always use our TBCC blue. You know, I'm always going to be in line there. Heidi taught me that, and I'll never forget. You're always going to be TBCC blue. And the mustardy yellow is comparing ourselves to our iPads or our comparison group, right? These are 6 colleges from across the country who are similar to us in important characteristics, right? They are small community colleges that are somewhat rural, similarly rural to us. Rural is a hard word to say. 6 o'clock. Rural. So they're small colleges. None of them as small as us, but we know that's kind of the nature of it, right? But small, they offer similar degrees to us. So they're not just small colleges, but they offer similar mix of associate degrees, both transfer and CTE degrees, mixed degrees. So they look like us in important ways, right? So what that shows us is the percentage of our students who are earning those degrees, that rate is notably lower than it is for our comparison group. And it has been consistently for the last 7 years, right? Now, there's a lag here. And that lag is because, because this is a 3-year completion rate. So we're giving students 3 years to complete that degree. So they started in 2018. We give them 3 years to earn the degree. So that takes it to 2021, 2022 is when they could have earned the degree. Then we report the data in 2023. Then it becomes available. It just slows everything down, right? It's just it just takes a while to get those data. I'm going to be speeding that up a little bit, so we'll get some more current, some more recent data. Next year, we're going to have a couple more data points available to us, but I hate to ruin the surprise. It doesn't look much better. I mean, the rates don't dramatically shoot up, I'm afraid. But anyway, so that's where we are with completion rate. So that's a lot. Questions about that?
So they have 3 years to do a certificate as well as.
Certificate or a degree in that time. And so the whole point of laying out the data then in this area is to give Peter the opportunity to talk about the strategic projects that he and his team are working on in this area and highlight that excellent work.
But can I give a little perspective about you asked about the 3-year piece, right?
Yes.
So 3 years, it would be if a student took 12 credits a term. We consider that full-time, but that's not really full-time. Full-time is 15 credits a term in terms of being able to finish within 2 years. We only have about 50% of our students, probably a little bit less actually, that take 12 credits or more, right? So what that's telling us really is about half of our students that potentially could finish in 3 years are finished, right? Did I say, do you think that's a fair statement?
Say that last part again.
If we only have, so 26% of our students that started that's not, is that 26% that started full-time?
It's 26%. Yes, it's only, the denominator is full-time
Oh, then
students.
never mind.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
No,
And that's 15 credits.
No, that's.
no, it's 12.
Okay.
It's 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another part of this is they're designated as full-time based on the credits that they took in that first term. But of course, students come in and out of full-time, part-time status, right? Because of all sorts of life events, but they're designated as full-time based on that first term. Yeah.
That's very interesting stat. Anyway, that 50%
Yeah,
are full-time.
full-time.
Yes.
One of the, as we were preparing for this presentation, one of the questions I had, it was a couple of days ago, so I didn't give Aaron adequate time to
Did
think about
not.
this, but what would a
Sure.
4-year completion rate look like? So just be kind of curious to see that at some point.
Well, it gets a little bit better, but not a lot.
Yeah, it is true that when you look at those and you put those out, even if you go out to 6 years, it doesn't change much really.
Yeah, it changes it changes a little bit, but what we find is especially for these students.
Yeah.
These students, a few of them will earn a degree if they stick around. Most of them either go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or they stop out.
Or they stop
right?
out.
Yeah, yeah, because it takes so much to persist that long.
What we
right?
would
You just
pick
have to
up-
persist that long.
Yeah, so what we would pick up if we put this out further is some of those students that started as full-time, but persisted with us, right? We retained them, but we might have retained them as part-time students.
Yeah, oh, sure,
Yeah,
yes,
I
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
So I think the more of the cohorts that we have, like the nursing cohort, that's gonna improve this because they are supposed to come and finish on a
Sure.
straight.
Oh, sure, I mean, that's gonna change this, that's gonna change this dramatically.
Better.
Yes,
You know,
but in some way, yes, I'm gonna say this again and again, yes, that's gonna be great, the nursing cohort is gonna make this look great. But that's cheating, right? It's not cheating, it's not cheating.
What's your
but-
point?
Cheating is statistics, right?
It's planning, we are planning
just
better
said-
for the completion.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it will make this rate look great. And what you will all see here is this rate with nurses and without nurses.
Oh, wow.
And I'm always gonna show you without the
Okay.
nurses,
Yeah.
because the nurses are gonna be 100% completion rate or 95%
Yeah,
completion
we
rate.
still have this, we
Great.
still have work to do.
We still have all these students who are the bulk of our students, and what are we gonna do about that? Right? I mean, that's still Peter's problem.
Yeah, so I want to talk about a few projects, you go to the next one, Cheryl, that are designed to support award completion rate. And one has to do with looking at our learning communities. Our learning communities, all of our courses are in 7 learning communities. So those are things like business, allied health, science and math. And the part of this I'm really interested in focusing on is the faculty participation in the learning communities. So I think there hasn't, I really, really like the learning communities we've established here. And I think that's part of our guided pathways work. And I've worked on guided pathways for a number of years and I love that model. But I think and I love our faculty, but I think there hasn't been tremendous buy-in from some of the faculty for learning communities. So that's the work that I'm interested in doing this year. I'm going to start with an upcoming faculty meeting where we'll be spending quite a bit of time talking about learning communities and then seeing if it would be helpful to form a work group with some of those faculty to see how we can better engage them in the learning communities.
Could you give us a definition or description of learning communities?
Yeah.
A learning community is really just a grouping of programs and courses in one area. And the idea is it's really ideal for students who show up at your doorstep, but they have no idea what they want to do. And so you can show them their 7 learning communities and see what attracts them. They're like, oh, my aunt's a nurse and that allied health looks like it might be really interesting. So it just helps guide them into something where then they can provide more advising and support to be successful in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Are there ever times that a course isn't available that might be, and it kind of messes up their plan?
Well, we have, that's a great question. And I'm sorry for leaving, Kathy. But we have program maps for all of our programs. And we have a commitment. So the program map designs, there's really sort of 2 aspects of it. A 2-year, if you have a full-time student who's going for 2 years and what would they need to take every term to finish that? And we also have it broken down in a 4-year program if they're going part-time, so they can see their ability to complete that program. We're committed to always offering courses on that program map in the term that they're shown for. Now, one of the things I'm working on, I've been working on the last 6 months, and I'll probably be working on it through this year, is trying to align our program maps a little more so they're more efficient. We have some program maps that may have stats in the fall and another one is stats in the spring, and I want to bring them together so it's a little more efficient for our course scheduling. But so we're very committed to always offering courses that are on the program map so they know that they can complete that. And it's a great commitment at a small school because, at this time of year, I'm looking at our enrollments for all of our courses, and there's a lot that have a small number of students in them, but I'm very committed to offering those so that students feel comfortable with enrolling and taking the class when it fits with their program map. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, because I went to a small college and if there were You had to have 10 students in order for that class
Yeah.
to fly, and if it didn't fly, it screwed up my plan.
Paul and I talk about this all the time, because I worked at Clark College for 8 years, and 17 was the number. You had to have 17 students or you canceled the
Yeah.
course.
And
So this is, so I'm like, this is a big adjustment to go, okay, 4, oh, good, that's great.
independence, yeah.
So what are the barriers with the faculty, do you think? I mean,
I think there just hasn't been a lot of discussion and support for them to understand the benefit, and the benefit where I really want, and again, I think the faculty are awesome here, but I think the opportunity is for faculty to be more engaged with the students and supporting their understanding of the learning communities and how that engagement will help support the students, and ultimately with the award completion rate. So.
Does it make more work for the faculty to be working with the learning community?
I don't think so. I think it's
You have
just
to work with
a
each
more
other.
awareness and opportunity for them to
They have to
engage
work
with the
together.
students.
Yeah, I think that's
The collaboration.
and it is a mind shift. I mean, I spent a long time teaching, and it is a mind shift when you start thinking about students and as a faculty member, responsibility to a student outside of the classroom,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's the sort of frame shift that people have to get in, is understanding that, oh, I have an impact, or I can impact a student's success outside of the classroom as opposed to just the material I might be teaching.
And it's such an opportunity for the faculty who has that relationship with the students. The more we get the faculty engaged with what we're doing in the bigger picture, the better for the students.
Are you gonna be talking about this? So,
I'll be talking about as
Formation.
much as you would like.
in a more-
Yeah, we'll be coming back to it certainly in the future.
Please,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and as
I
we've
need more.
grown beyond faculty, we've got support roles, we've got safety manager, we've got, you know, a lot of different types of roles that love this kind of thing. They're here because they love students.
Yeah, yeah.
And the more that you engage them in those, relationship building, they're often the ones who are here outside of class times anyway.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
There's just a lot of cool things that can happen in a small campus.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I wanted to talk about 2 more projects, but I'll be brief. So the next one has to do with credit for prior learning. So credit for prior learning, it is often misunderstood that there's an opportunity for us to award credit for past experience of students. And it doesn't take away from our opportunity to, you know, have students here for those. It really creates opportunities for students to want to come to our college to finish whatever program that those prior credits fit into. This is an opportunity for me to mention that I very recently hired a person, I think you all know, Michael Weisenflug, as an interim dean of instruction half-time from now through the end of June to help with a handful of projects. And this is one of them that I have assigned him. So we will look forward to, oh, and actually, Michael has worked on this in the past here, and it really, no fault of his own, but it didn't really get finished. So Michael's task is to sort of finish this work so that we can start awarding credit for prior learning to students who are showing up at our door and have some past experience that makes sense. So that's very
That's a
exciting.
hard one. That's hard because you have to have this person, what's this, did this, and this person did this, and
Yeah,
Figuring out.
systems, I mean, it's not, we're not inventing the wheel here. So, but yeah, it is a little bit challenging, and you've got to make sure it's a fair
Legit,
process
yeah,
for all, so. And then the third project, that was mentioned earlier, and we talked about briefly, was co-requisite course instruction. So I've worked quite a bit, primarily with math, but it also works for English co-requisite course instruction. We're doing both of those, as Paul mentioned here. I think there's opportunities for us to do it better. And so that's really where the opportunity is. My intention with this is there's some really great work. I had a faculty when I was my 3 years at Clark College, or excuse me, at Clatsop Community College, who was just fabulous and had done a tremendous amount of work at the state level. And so I'm planning on bringing her and some other folks here to work with our faculty. I think hearing from another faculty member will really be much more compelling than hearing from me as an administrator. That's kind of my opportunity for engagement. So these are 3 different projects I'll be working on through this year to support the hopefully help award completion rate. So I'm happy to answer any of the questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for you? Thank you. I'm interested in the co-requisite program. And I was thinking about my own experience when I went to community college. I tested into bonehead math, like very basic math. And something like that. Yeah.
Is that math of 9?
And there were maybe, yes, and there were 6 classes that I was supposed to take in order to get to college math.
Right.
And I may have taken the first couple and then stopped
Yeah.
because I just thought I will never get through these.
Yeah, and
So-
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So what I did was, it molded where I went. I went to a college and when I transferred into a 4-year school, I chose a Bachelor of Arts degree because I did the research and discovered that if I just passed a math proficiency exam at that college, then I wouldn't have to take any more college level math. And I thought, I'll take that test and fail it, which I did. And then I'll get a tutor who will tutor me to pass that test. So I did that, which was maybe an equivalent to this co-requisite that we're talking about right now. And it was successful and it was fine. But if I had gotten through math in community college, I would have had more, I would have had more choices.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting to think about the learning communities, you would have looked at our 7 learning communities and been like, oh, science and math, not that one.
Right, true,
That's
true.
true.
But yeah, no, I think, and it's really sad that there's such a cultural negative message about math and particularly for young women. And so that's something we really want to support. Everyone can do well in math, but we really want to provide opportunities for them to be successful.
Thanks.
Math and public speaking. Those are the 2 things that keep people from graduating in my view.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, Mary, I appreciate you volunteering to take some math courses in the spring. Great opportunity.
Well, what's fascinating is that my son is a math whiz. He got a college degree in math, so.
There you go.
Skips a generation.
Right. Pardon?
Did he teach you anything?
Oh, not in there.
I'm about
Oh, we tutored lots of people.
Lessons learned.
Okay, moving on to board election information.
Great, thank you. Well, to continue our conversation, upcoming board, so we have 4 seats that are up for election, whose term in the end of June. Zone 2, Andrea, Zone 3, which is Kathy's for about another minute. And then that will be vacant, obviously, until filled, but even if that's filled with an interim, that person will need to run as well. Tamara is an at-large position and Shannon's position are all,
Is it that large also?
no, Shannon's
No, I'm
is based in,
done.
you're the only at-large.
Basic.
It's the only one.
For now,
That's
Mary's,
the other one.
or yeah, Mary Faith's at-large,
Okay.
yeah. So Zone 2 is Fairview, Neatards, Oceanside, South Prairie, West Side, that's Andrea. Kathy's Zone 3, East Side, Trask. It's a walk. Tillamook, all of Tillamook, yeah. Tamara's at large, so that can be anywhere in the county. And Shannon's basically Garibaldi, Kilchis, Maple Leaf, Foley. And so forth. So they will accept applications to county clerk between February 8th and March 20th. We did say the application form follows, but I did not put it in here because the new one's not out yet. Is that right? We're waiting
That's
for
right,
that
they
one.
told us they would let us know when it's been.
Yeah, I did put in information that they sent about the special election. You can go to their website and get the form as well and mail it there. And it costs, you gotta have some skin in the game. It's $10. $10 by March 20th for that there. And so the election will be May 20th as a special election, and the new term will begin July 1. So we will have a July board meeting where we will swear in board members at this time in 2025. Questions about that?
No, I'm just glad I don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, said when we have a wonderful board, I hope, well, obviously Kathy's declared she's not, but I hope all of you intend to stay on because I do think that you do a good job for the college, and so I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Likewise.
What happens if you get elected in one of the districts and then you vote?
We do the same thing we did, it's vacant.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. If they have,
You're at large.
Move out of the county.
Yeah, I did move,
Yeah, and I'm.
And Cassie O'Neill called me very quickly and said, your address isn't right on your voting. I gotta get that right.
Yeah, if, so if someone did move out, we would have to declare a vacancy because they could hold it.
Well, that's happened
Yeah.
several times.
Oh, it happened to me. When I
Oh, yeah.
moved from South County, I had to
You were all over
resign
the
my
place.
position.
Oh, is that right?
And then
Yes, Jen,
apply for a vacant at large position.
Okay.
And luckily, the board appointed.
Did you get to vote on that?
It was weird.
There was times where there like have been vacancies for a period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can stay vacant. We
Yeah.
don't need it. It doesn't
And
change.
you don't have to appoint if somebody, if you have people that are applying and you don't want them, then you don't have to pick them just because they
Yeah, and
you can reopen it.
Well, awkward.
it's
Yeah.
harder for us though, because the quorum, you know, with a
Yeah.
6 board member, the quorum's still 4, right?
Yeah.
Because it's 50% plus 1, right? So we would still have to have 4. So it just makes it that operational pieces of it are a little bit harder.
So Mary Keith, are you the other one who's at large? Okay.
And you said Mary too.
No,
No, not
Mary's
me.
South County.
Mary,
So-
that's right, of course, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll have that. So we will remind you again, if we do have the form, we'll get it to you all when we see it become available on the website, we'll mail it out to you all. If you have any questions or want to talk about it at all, certainly have Jen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm remembering one time when I had procrastinated filing and I meant to file, but I just hadn't done it yet. And Connie Green called me and said, I will meet you in the clerk's office.
Did that actually happen? Seriously?
I said, oh, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the president can bribe you with that.
Exactly.
Probably rules against that.
Very good.
That's right. Okay, if there's nothing else on that, let's go to the construction report.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to start with CIP first. I've been starting with HEB every time first, but I'd like to move CIP to the front of my report. We've had a lot of movement in the last few weeks on CIP. It's currently been submitted to the county in plan review, which we're excited. That was a big hurdle, so we're out of any zoning. But the city, the county is doing the permit review. We also have our EDA paperwork complete, which actually gets submitted tomorrow, which is a big step. There's a lot of work with the EDA, so we're super excited about that. The good thing is the EDA review, as well as the county review, as well as going out to bid, can all run concurrent. An EDA requirement is that we have to stay open for bid for a minimum of 30 days. And our plan is to be open for bid and out to bid by the end of January, which is very exciting. So a lot of movement there. We also have a company on site tomorrow to do any oil cleanup with our septic system. We finally found a resolve. I guess it was very difficult finding a company that has dealt with that exact situation. But we found a great company out of Portland and they'll be here tomorrow.
Great.
To clean that up. It turns out it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We just had to find the right people and that took some time. But we did find the company. They've dealt with this exact situation before and they assure us tomorrow should go very smooth and we move on.
Excellent.
Which is exciting. So we anticipate to be out to bid for mainly the month of February. And then from there, depending on how the bids come in, started construction anywhere from March to April. So we're still trying to track the project to finish with HEB in late fall, of 2025. So hopefully October, November, the CIT building will be coming online right with HEB, which is looking good. So that's a positive update on CIT. HEB's been very busy, so our foundation's complete. We finalized all our slab pours, so all the foundation and slabs are complete. Our framing package arrived today, so we had the first semi-load of 2x4s. It's called are on site.
Yeah.
So the framers have started snapping lines and laying out. Hopefully, we will see our first walls by the end of this week,
Wow.
which will be quite an event when we start seeing lumber going vertical.
What's it supposed to be this week?
Yeah, the weather looks phenomenal, which
Yeah.
we couldn't ask for better weather. So that's where the excitement is getting to framing. The framing is gonna go very quickly. They anticipate 7 weeks,
Wow.
and we will have the building standing.
That's amazing.
So
That is
they will frame the first floor and put the second floor on, and then all mechanical, plumbing, and electrical trades will move into the first floor while they're still framing the second floor. So the next 60 days are gonna be crazy, but it'll be nice. We will have the building coming out of the ground. Last week, they completed a lot of the site electrical work. So lighting for the plaza, outlets in the plaza, EV chargers, hundreds of miles, all these miles of conduit that go on the ground for all the electrical work. So basically, they start the deepest in-ground work and they're just moving their way up. And electrical is one of the last ones before they can start doing finish improvements. You know, concrete curbing, parking lots, plaza. So that infrastructure is slowly coming out of the ground, which is very exciting. We have a beam signing coming up, so I'm gonna use this to kind of to lead into that. Britta might want to say a quick word about our big beam signing that's coming up.
Yeah, you all should have gotten an email invitation, but I just kind of printed it out so you have a hard copy reminder. It's gonna be Thursday, January 16th at 2 p.m. It will be on site with the tent over, so bring your galoshes or your branded ponchos if it's pouring. And then we are gonna just take some photos and it'll be a beam that's used on the second floor.
Yep,
Is that
so
correct?
it'll be a glue lam beam that's used in the building. It will live somewhere in the second floor of the building. I don't know exactly where yet, but it will be upstairs somewhere.
That's fun.
So that'll be exciting. With that, we're ready for tours.
Nice.
So I'd like to extend an invitation to the board to tour the job site. I don't know if we want to try to do next month's board meeting early or if we want to set up a separate tour. I'm also more than happy to do private tours with smaller groups if we can't make it as a full board, but we are ready to start touring.
Thank
It'd be
you.
fun to get
Do
you
it the
out.
next 6 hours, Kathy can join us.
Just watch out for the elevator shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, the makeshift hot tub. We don't want to fall in that.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of next month at 4.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea.
I like that.
And we're picking up daylight, so by next month, we
Yes.
should be okay on daylight. We'll tour it and walk it and then come back into the board meeting.
Great.
You'll get to see some
Minute a day.
walls there. It is amazing. Jason took me out there. I don't remember when it was. We went out there. Was it last
That was last
week or something?
Friday. or Thursday.
Yeah, anyhow, you get to see the size of it. It's pretty amazing, right?
You get to see
When
what?
you're in it, the size of it when you're in it. Like I was standing in the community room and it's like, that's a big room. Yeah, so it's just not big enough.
Right?
Never big enough, never.
Um,
But yeah, it's exciting.
Is there any questions I could answer on the projects?
How's it going with water and flooding?
It's going very well.
Good.
It's been quite a learning curve. We've been managing the TBCC. Made the commitment to manage all our water that was originally planned to go out the FEMA connection, which is not installed yet. So we've been managing all of that water via pump to Brookfield. And I feel very confident we're finally to a point where I'm getting some sleep. There's been quite a few sleepless nights during these storms, but we've been doing actually very well. We're also if we're maintaining the ponds that historically have always built on the fairgrounds. We're actually pumping those and keeping those at a minimum. Because if those breach that burn, they would wash through the job site. So we're kind of staying on top of that too, to make sure that doesn't happen, because historically that usually happens at least once a year. But we're actually pumping those this year, which is the first time that we've done that. So it's actually going very, very good. I think we have a long ways to go, but we're in January, and it's going pretty good.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions for Jason?
Right? Thank you.
Thank you. To the financial report.
Yes. So I'm going to start with reminding Jason about, he keeps forgetting to give me credit for bringing the sun here. So I keep reminding him till he learns that. So I'm going to go to the construction bond money. So we still have about $10 million of the $15 million. So we spend about $5 million of that fund. And also in the accompanying account that is for the $8 million, we have requested and received about $3 million of it already. So closer to, I want to call it, to half. So on the finance part of it, we're doing great. And then with that, I'm gonna start talking about the general fund and I'm gonna try to read, because I've gone over this several times. So basically the percentages are, I think you're familiar enough to look at the percentages, and yeah, so I'm going to be brief. The first thing that I want to say is that the beginning fund balance, this is as of the end of November, so it shows 1.8. I think we did a little bit more modifications in December and probably the audit happening. So the one that I bring to you next month is going to have the exact amount that is going to stay the same. So this is, I mean, I don't think it's going to go down by much, but it may be going down a little bit, but still it's 50% more than what we budgeted and we thought it would be our beginning fund balance. State has given us two payments. So this $2.3 million is two payments. So it's actually 50% of what we should receive from the state. But again, based on what we budgeted, it shows a little bit more than 50%. The rest of everything else seems appropriate for the time of the year that we are. I'm not going to go into the tuition and fees because I explained last time that because of the nursing, we're doing a little bit better. So on the expense section, everything is kind of around 30% except for one or two. One is higher, one is a little bit more lower than 30%. But overall, I think we're doing really well. We are on the budget, and I don't have any reasons to be concerned or worried. One other piece of information I want to add for you, and that is about the property tax money that we received for the two bonds that we have, the bond to 2016 and the 2023 bonds. So on the 2016 bond, we budgeted $825,000 in our budget book. And of that, we've received about $712,000. So the bulk of it is here, which I don't expect to see much of. I mean, November and December are the months that we see the majority of that money coming in. But it's enough for me to feel comfortable that we can meet where we should be. On the 2023 bond, we budgeted $348,000. I can't say my numbers. So, and of that, we received $300,000 already. Again, puts me at ease because the majority of it is already here. And on both of them, we had to pay half of the interest on both of these bonds at the end of December. So also we're doing the payments as well as that. With that, I think I'm gonna I'm on this page too. I just want to see what I did. Oh yeah, I already talked about that. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And the president's report.
Great, thank you. Pretty brief, this month, we were off a good bit during the month of December. Point out a few things. We did join in with, OSU Extension and had a family day for Juntos, which is our program, to serve, the Latinx community. In particular, that was on December 20th. We had about 150 students and family members there.
That's great.
Did a lot of crafts, a lot of classwork. They had a tamale truck and had a all around good time. We also had in the month of December, the Healthcare Advisory Committee met, and hadn't met, I don't think they met last year, I'm trying to recall, but basically we made sure that we had a meeting to discuss changes in particular in the curriculum around EMT and nurse assisting and things like that. And so they were all very supportive of that work. I don't know, Peter, if you have any follow-up?
No, it was very, very positive. So
Yeah.
they appreciated coming together, and I think they're looking forward to more frequent meetings.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. We had some of you, I think maybe I saw some of you at the Winter Wonderland Extravaganza Friday the 13th. And we had some costume judging. We had sweet and savory treats and all of that. Lots of fun. Celebrate Rose's birthday.
Right.
So that was fun. I did attend, I did not attend, Sherry attended for me, OPC, and we did have an OCCA board meeting, the first part of December. Much of the conversation was around the governor's recommended budget, capital construction, increases in the capital construction, and then again, looking at this financial monitoring report that the community colleges are going to have to give. So that was pretty much our month of December. A lot of people took some time off, had some good rest, and that was really good. Today is the first day of instruction. The parking lot was full for winter term, and so that felt pretty good. We'll have an enrollment update for you in February, but I think things look pretty good in general. Couple reminders, just some January observances. I mentioned it is School Board Appreciation Month. I think that there are probably, if I did my math correctly, somewhere north of 1,500 or so individuals in the state that volunteer their time to serve on school boards. And so I thank you all for that. I know the dedication that it takes and the things you miss out on because you're here, but the college is far better off and our students are much better off through your participation. So I'm grateful for that. I just want to mention we will have Martin Luther King Day will be January 20th. The college will be closed. Our Equity and Inclusion Committee does organize an event of helping. So if you're interested, I've got the information there where you can go join in on a day of service if you choose to. I don't know what the projects are this year. Anybody know?
It's something with Habitat for Humanity. We were trying to do narrow down a few options so people with different mobility skills could participate. So it's in the works. I'm not sure exactly what.
Yeah, we don't have it narrowed down yet.
Okay, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
Great. So if you're interested, feel free to join in. The day after that is the National Day of Racial Healing. That day's been around for about 4 or 5 years now, as a day where we should, look at ways collectively that we can share values and work together to end the effects of racism. So I encourage you to take a look at some of that information. Then also this month we celebrate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. It's on January 27th. I think that it is, even though it's been decades, it's still the effects of Holocaust and the impact it has had on individuals and the world is pretty profound. So again, keep that in mind. And then lastly, a couple dates coming up. As I mentioned, college will be closed on January 20th. We will have the OCCA Legislative Summit March 5th through 6th. So those of you that might be interested as board members in attending, please let Lori and myself know because we'll be working on solidifying some of those dates and reservations and those kinds of things that we need to do. And then our board meeting, next regular board meeting will be Monday, February 3rd. And we'll meet at 4 o'clock, it sounds like, for a tour of the new facility. So that'll be fun. Just a few kudos. If you noticed, we're here over the holidays, the decorations down in the lobby. Longtime employee Holly Kraus organized much of that, and a lot of other folks worked with her as well, but she put in a lot of time in trying to make it an inviting lobby for everybody. So that was kind of fun to see. Already, we've talked about the audit and the lift that was this year. Sherry obviously put in time, but lots of people in the business office, student services, there was a lot of work that we had to do to provide support to our auditor when he was here to make sure that it came out as cleanly as it did. So I appreciate everybody's effort there. And then I would like to thank Michael Weisenblum for again willing to help out the college. He's been a big support to me and the college, certainly. As a faculty member, as a president of the TBCC Foundation Board, and now I get to boss him around as middle management. So Michael, I'm so looking forward to making your life a little bit less pleasant. Yeah. No, but I mean it sincerely. Michael's been a big help to the college, and again, the kind of resolve of people that really love this college. I mean, from board members to community members to our employees that work, tirelessly to understand, each individual student's need. Michael's been there when we needed him for a number of things, and I greatly appreciate that we have folks like that are willing to contribute. So thanks, Michael. And that's my report.
Thank you.
I need to circle back to the first item.
Oh,
Where did you get the tamale truck?
It's the same one we've been using. Is it the Mendes brothers?
Yes.
The one there, they came to our orientation and some of the other events too. So they've got it dialed in now. Here they've been across the street a few times.
they've done tacos with us, nachos,
Yeah.
tamales, a few different times. Yeah.
We always do that. You probably have them for 6 or 7 events.
Yeah. Are they regularly parked somewhere?
Yes, they're down the challenge. They're on 101. They're off the side.
They're on the right hand
Yes,
side now.
correct. Yeah.
The right.
Yeah.
If you're going north on the one.
Where you all used to be.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right there.
Yeah.
By the new Domino's.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. I know where that's at.
I have been there. That's delicious food.
Which is,
It is.
Yes, it's really
the
good.
new Domino's is wrongly shaped like Pizza Hut. Must be the only one in the country
I know,
that.
it's like big things.
Like that is good.
Yeah.
Is your Facebook or something?
The Mendes brothers. I don't know about that. Okay. So do we have any board member discussion items?
What's that?
Any board member
I
discussion?
want to get a picture.
I will be on vacation for name signing, so
Okay.
I will.
Yeah,
I'll forward your name if I can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be on a train.
Amber,
Yeah.
sure.
The week after, we'll still have it.
Okay.
Well, it was not a
Okay.
question.
Well, earlier in the week, the better. Jason's looking at me like.
I'll get Yeah. It just
Okay.
makes me want to seek it out too. Are you going somewhere fun? The farm in Texas.
Well, if we don't have any more business for this board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I moved,
Happy.
I moved, we adjourned.
Yeah.
And I want picture of the board and Paul. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, are we planning
I wore my
to,
college
if people are
sweatshirt.
interested to join us at the rendezvous?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
You don't know where they're.
Right downtown.
Down the road, is
Yeah.
where everybody gathers.
People hang out.
Wait, I've heard of that. I've never been.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Some.
And thank you for the.
Can I give one?